Hi everybody, my name is Nick Busco and I'd like to welcome you to Music to Your Eyes. This short show is going to be interviewing people who've been out on the road, who have been involved in the music business. Anywhere from lead techs to lighting designers to road managers to stage managers to promoters to people who had anything to do with the concert or touring business, itinerary people, travel agents, and let's not forget the roadie. So anyway, what I'd like to do is introduce my first interview, and it will be with a gentleman named Alan Wydell. Everybody on the road knew him as Bugs. Bugs was Tom Petty's lead tech for over 40 years. I did this interview, I'd say, about a year and a half ago, before Tom passed. I talked with Bugs about putting this on the internet so we can take a look at it. He very much agreed with all this, so we're going to take off and do this. First, we're going to do an interview with Bugs, then I have some few photographs I'd like to show you, some things that I've taken, but also I'd like to introduce Tom's new video, which he shot on his 8mm camera when he was out on tour. And for some reason or other, I know I was handed that camera a few times. I'm wondering if one of my shots are in there. But anyway, here we go. I'd like to introduce you to Bugs, and we'll see what he has to say. Thank you for stopping by. It's just look at me. Just that story. How did it all start for you? I mean,
I moved to California when I was 18. Got out of high school and grew up. Went to high school in Georgia, so wanted to get the fuck out of there.
So did you move to LA? Is that what you did?
I moved to Isla Vista, of all places. I had friends that lived there.
Where's Isla Vista?
It's just next to the University of Santa Barbara. So, and this is 1972. It was a total hippie community. It was great. It was Eden, compared to where I had been. And I hung out there for a while, did some factory work, and then got into construction. And then the construction dried up in Santa Barbara, so I was looking for work. Didn't really have any plans or any goals in that direction. Just was sort of hanging around, and I met these guys. They were a band called JoJo Gunn, who had moderate success for a few years, and got interested in that. I'd always liked music, and I wasn't a musician, but I was really into the music, and it's like, yeah, this is a great thing. You could do that and be around it all the time. So when that band fell apart, one of the guys that was in the crew, his name was Cutter Brandenburg, he just went, he goes, look, you told me you wanted to do this, and I've always told you the only way to do it is start from the bottom. Got these guys from Texas, they just drove out here to, make their mark in the world. You want to do it? Come on down, this is the bottom. So I moved down to Hollywood with him. I was living off unemployment for a couple years, and playing clubs and doing stuff with that band, and eventually, actually the drummer in that band was Stan Lynch. And so when he left that band to go to the Heartbreakers, he said, hey, I want to bring you along on this thing, So I said, okay, how much? So when they got to the point where, they could hire me, he called me over and got in with them, when they were recording their first album.
Doing guitar work? What were you
Yeah, I was just the guy, I was the roadie, wasn't specialized at that point,
So when did you meet those guys? I mean, you remember what year it was by any chance?
75.
And what was the band?
Oh, the other band?
Yeah.
They were called Slip of the Wrist.
And
nothing ever happened with them.
And what was the band that you went to?
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, so Stan went to the Heartbreakers, and I got in there when that was around 1975. They were about halfway through their first album when I came in. They were just working in the studio every day.
Cool. So obviously you got along with the band.
Yeah, like a house on fire,
And did you ever? I mean, what did you think about it? I mean, did you ever think about like how long you were going to do this? I mean, this day, I haven't thought about how long I'm going to do this.
You know, we finished that record. We went out on the road. We ended up making another record. We went out on the road.
What record?
You know, and all of a sudden you look up and
What was was it the first album you
Yeah.
were working with him?
Yeah.
What was that?
it was just Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
It was from Damn the Torpedoes.
Damn the Torpedoes was the album. That was the third album when the band broke. You know, we went into the big time then.
Tell me a little bit about that, how it felt.
It felt really natural at the time, you know, because it was a natural progression. You know, we started out, you know, just me and Lenahan, and you know, driving a truck full of stuff around, and then, you know, over a couple years' time, we got a couple other guys, and then progressed to where, yeah, we had a one truck tour with, you know, carried lights and sound. That was probably around Damn the Torpedoes time.
When I came in to the studio, I forgot where we're rehearsing. I want to say Culver City. I'm not sure.
I think it was Universal.
Might have been a Universal.
Yeah, because we in those days we always rehearsed at Universal because
That's
we were
right.
on MCA.
Yeah. I remember walking in backstage, and I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't a fan. I really didn't know a lot about Tom. I was familiar with his music. I walked backstage, and I want to say, I don't know if they were playing American Girl or something from the album. I really wish I could remember the song, but I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened.
Well, for me, I walked in, you know, Stanley brought me down to the studio, and I walked in there, and they played me Breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd been, you know, hanging out in LA and, you know, working with bands at the Whiskey and, you know, doing shit like that. I'm like, holy shit.
Right,
you know?
it's exactly.
We got a real one here. You know?
I walked in and I went, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally got goosebumps when I heard. I mean, it might have been here. I'm like, damn, it was just that riff, you know,
Yeah.
that full sound that our buddy Gennaro was able to reproduce. You know.
Yeah, Gennaro has a gift.
Yeah, yeah. Did you work with any other bands when Tom wasn't out on the road?
No, that was one of the things I always loved was the Heartbreakers. From the time I started working with them, I've worked with them every single day. You know, there's always something going on. You know, it's never slowed down.
Right.
And there never was really gaps of time, you know, where they didn't need me.
How long have you been working with Tom Petty?
40 years.
I'm jealous.
I know, it's insane.
It is.
It's I'm probably the luckiest person in the music business. I know of other people that have similar positions, maybe even a couple of other people that have had, you know, similar time spans, you know, working with bands. But I gotta say, nobody that's ever had the job I have. You know, I mean, from the first day he hired me, Tom Petty went, here, you do this. I don't want to know about it. You don't have to tell me. Just do it. I'll trust that you got it taken care of. And it's been that way for 40 years.
That's great.
You know, and that's so incredibly unique in any business, you know, in any situation. There's artists and there's musicians, you know. The people that are artists, they always have a harder time because, you know, they've got something else, you know, in mind that people never pick up on.